Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 9 of season 6 of FormulaXbox. It's KGibbsGP here as always, and today we're in Spielberg in the Austrian mountains for what should be an interesting race really. The Red Bull Ring is a circuit which is lacking in corner numbers. We've only got 9 here, but they are 9 very technical and challenging corners, and personally I love the complex between turns 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 because it's so high speed. It generates such fantastic car control at times, particularly in the wet conditions, and is just a great place to watch the cars really attack the corners and watch the drivers at their very, very best. As you can see, it doesn't look much like we're going to have rain today. It's a stunning, stunning weather here in Austria, and ultimately that spells for a dry race today by the looks of things. But you never know what could happen, particularly in the mountains. A shower can pop up at any time. It was RBZ who qualifies on pole position, a 1:07.503, once again on pole position, and we'll hope that he can reel in Casey Legend, who leads the championship coming into this round. He's 32 points off the championship lead, but will have to fend off Comundo and Sam, who line up behind him, if he wants to try and take victory today. So, nearly all set then to cross over to the grid now, as we have 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. We're on board now with Sam as he gets a fairly steady getaway. Pretty much even Stevens with the top 3 as they get away from the grid. As Comundo, as I look up the inside, Casey Legend comes steaming in, but it gets away with it, and Comundo is away in second. But it's RBZ who has the whole shot. He's the one that leads this race as the field heads up to turn 2, and he's got quite a margin over the Force India in second. Casey's attack at turn 1 seems to have split the field up a little bit, but as they head through turn 2 now, no dramas so far, and it's RBZ leading from Comundo with Sam behind and Casey in 4th. As we go over a replay now further back in the field, as Dan Mack in the McLaren got a fantastic launch off the grid there, makes up so many places, and then gets hit in the rear there, gets taken out by what looked like the Force India of ElusiveKev. I'm sure we'll get a view from Kev's perspective in just a moment. But disaster for Dan Mack after a fantastic launch. As we see now, yep, from Kev's perspective, just got in way too hot into the corner. And unfortunately for Kev, usually very, very sharp at the start of races and avoiding contact usually at all times. But on this occasion, just caught out. So Kev, I'm sure, will face the wrath of the stewards after that one. As we see the run up the hill now, we're on board with Drastic Midget. As the 2 cars ahead make contact, it was KGibbs and prototypbudgie up ahead there. So the Red Bull and McLaren come to contact again. We saw that in Australia, and ultimately it's happened again on lap 1 of this race. But now on board back with the live action, there's lap 2 as Sam is now closing in on Comundo, the Force India. Will he have a go into turn 2? He's shaping up for it. He's down the inside of the Force India, locks the right front, just about keeps it on the road though, and ultimately Comundo's gone wide there, and that's going to allow Casey Legend to take the position. So that's Casey up in the P3 from his P4 starting position. So progress made there, and it looks like, looking at the replay now, Luke, his teammate, followed him through as well. So the Toro Rosso is making up good ground early on, and Luke actually looks like he's going to have a move on Casey Legend now. He's looking to the inside. He's down the inside of his teammate. The 2 Toro Rossos going side by side through turn 3. So Luke offers a lot of space to Casey there, as you'd expect from teammates, and Casey fills all the available space and takes the position back once again. Luke never had it really, in fairness, and Sam is the one that's coming under intense pressure now from what is quite a train behind. We've got Sam, Casey, Luke and Comundo all in this battle for second place, while RBZ clears off into the distance at the moment. As we see Casey having another look at the inside of Sam there, but that's compromised his exit from turn 1, and Luke is going to take that position very easily there. So that's Luke up now into P3. Casey could even be under threat from Comundo as they head towards turn 2 now because of that poor traction he got off of turn 1. Looks like he's held onto the position on this occasion though, and it's going to be all about the traction now out of turn 2 and whether Luke can mount an attack on Sam as they head towards turn 3. We saw he was quite conservative against his teammate last lap. Is he going to be with Sam? No, he's much more aggressive in the braking zone this time. Can he keep it on the road? Yes, he can. Luke keeps it on the road and takes P2 here. Fantastic racing between the 4 guys, all scrapping for P2 at the moment, and RBZ is loving this because he is just clearing off into the distance. It'll be interesting to see though, as Drastic Midget makes a very early pit stop, potentially for, as we see, a change of front wing for him. It'll be interesting to see how the tyre dead goes, whether RBZ's just taken too much life out of his tyres early on. The wear is pretty intense around here, particularly on the purple striped ultra soft tyre. The deg is so high, and it just could potentially catch some of these guys out, particularly those guys battling for position. But also RBZ if he's putting in the kind of pace he is at the moment. So we see Dan Mac and Drastic Midget both making their early pit stops. We also had prototypbudgie and KGibbs also in the pits, of course, because of their lap 1 contact. And we see now Sam battling still for P2. He's going to try around the outside of Luke at turn 4. This is audacious from Sam. Doesn't quite manage to pull it off, but Luke gives him space around the outside. He's still side by side as they head through turn 5 now. Sam's got the high ground for the corner, but it looks to me like Luke's going to have it as they head towards turn 8 now. But Sam's sticking in there. He's down the inside, bit of contact between the two of them. Sam, with a bit of opposite lock on, manages to keep hold of the car and keep it pointing in the right direction. As we see Casey, Legend and Kamundo just dropping back a little bit now. Sam with the DRS active has a look up the inside, but to no avail on this occasion. Can't quite get the job done. But he'll have great traction out of turn 1. He's in the slipstream as well. No DRS down this straight, but it doesn't look like he needs it at the moment as he heads towards the inside. Late on the brakes, is he going to get it stopped? He locks up the right front again, just as we saw in his move on Kamundo earlier, and that's cost him this time. He doesn't get the job done, and that's going to leave him, well, I thought it was going to leave him exposed to Kamundo behind, but as we're going to see a replay now, it was Casey and Kamundo who were battling out, and Nor, in fact, catching up to these guys as well. So Nor wants a piece of the action. It was nearly 3 wide as they headed into turn 2. As we see Sam recovering from his off-track moment, and Kamundo with a rather aggressive move on Casey there. Fantastic traction from the Force India off turn 2. And that's actually Nor who makes his way past Casey as well. Casey having none of it, back down the inside and gets the job done, it looks like. Yes, just about, but again Nor gets fantastic traction off the corner, and the two make contact. Casey's round, championship leader's in the wall, and he's out of this race. The championship leader is gonna, well, he's not going to be the championship leader after this one, surely, as he's made contact with the barriers. Nightmare scenario for Casey, Legend, and that's now a big opportunity for Luke and for RBZ to try and claw in this deficit they have in the championship, as you see. And Sinan comes just charging around the corner and hits Casey's stricken Toro Rosso, which came across the track in a rather compromised position, to be fair. We see it now from Nor's perspective, and just a bit of lag involved. The two of them very, very close in combat, and just very unfortunate there of both parties. You see Sinan just gets collected, and Nor just about carries on, but after clawing his way up the field and doing a fantastic job with some great pace early on, it's all come to no avail, and he's down to P7 now, battling with the Lost Warrior at the moment. So nightmare there for Casey and for Nor, it has to be said, and I'm sure that'll go to the stewards, but to be fair, it did look decidedly like a racing incident there. Both parties just very, very unfortunate as they were trying to go to close combat, and well, like I said, that's blown the championship race wide open now. Casey out of this race, and Luke and RBZ are going to be sniffing the opportunity to really reel him in, and in Luke's case, he could take the championship lead after this one. RBZ being 32 points behind, won't be able to do that, but he'll certainly be able to get to within striking distance of Casey as they head to the next round, and Silverstone, of course, next time out. As we tune in now to Dan Mac's battle with Drastic Midget. Drastic Midget taking the soft tyres during his pit stop early on, and Dan Mac opting for the super soft option. So a couple of different strategies going on here, and we're sure. Oh, Midge has gone down the inside of Dan Mac there. Bit of contact between the two of them. That was late from Drastic Midget there, and he's going to give Dan Mac the position back. I'm not surprised really. That was fairly ambitious. I think that was more of a late braking, just standard late braking that was sort of had to be turned into an overtake there. Such was the lateness of his LT action. As we see him now activate the DRS against Dan Mac in P12. This is only for P12, might I add. The guys are battling it out like it's for the lead of the race. As we see Drastic Midget late on the brakes again, but does get it stopped for turn 1, so better on the brakes this time. But Dan Mac goes sailing back past again. Drastic Midget cuts into the slipstream of the McLaren, jigs to the inside line. It's the best line for turn 2. He's going to have to be late on the brakes once again. This is a fantastic battle between the two of them. They're still side by side as they head up the hill now out of turn 2. Drastic Midget has DRS service, and that's going to bode well for him. But here comes the Lost Warrior. He's out on fresh soft tyres after making his first pit stop. Is he going to go to the inside? Contact between him and the Mercedes, and Drastic Midget is off the road. Front wing damage as well, but doesn't look too bad from the off-board shot that we're seeing at the moment. And yeah, so nightmare for Drastic Midget there, and ultimately I think that was probably the Lost Warriors' fault on that one. We're going to see it from Dan Mack's perspective now. But yeah, the Sauber just trying to get in the action. A bit too late on the brakes, but looks at it again, a little bit of lag involved potentially as well. I'll give the Sauber the benefit of the doubt potentially on that one, for now at least. But again, another interesting one for the stewards to take a look at once this race has come to a conclusion. There's Dan Mack, who jumps up to P11 after all those shenanigans, and ElusiveKev that looks like he might be able to opportunistically pinch P14, and up the inside now he goes into turn 5, and yes, that is P14 for ElusiveKev and Force India. So back on board now with our protagonists for the podium, as we see Sam boxing now, and I think that was someone following in behind potentially. Indeed, Jackhickmann makes his stop as well, so it's a battle of the pit crews, Ferrari versus Force India on lap 7, as Sam ditches his ultra soft tyres and goes for a set of softs. Could potentially be a 2-stop from Sam in this one. We could see 3 stops from most people, and it'll be an ambitious one if he's going to try and pull off a 2-stop. We have seen him do that sort of thing in the past to good effect, as we see the Lost Warrior now up the inside of Dan Mack as they head towards turn 2. Dan Mack with both front tyres locked up. Surely he's not going to get that stopped, as he just about keeps it on the road. In fact, so a good effort from him there, but of course the Sauber with the better traction, giving Dan Mack's lateness of braking. And yeah, definitely a bit of lag going on with the Sauber there. It's difficult for Dan Mack to really pick a path way through. As we see KGibbs is catching them now, wants a piece of the action as well, as the Sauber's all over the grass. That's going to give Dan Mack an opportunity as they head towards turn 5. He's down the inside and gets the job done on the exit. Bit of oversteer as well, holds the car though, and definitely fighting that McLaren. Bit of few balance issues there potentially, as the tyres are starting to get into the halfway point at least of this particular stint. As we see Sam making his way past Cushion Gamer, Cushion's first race in the league, and he's being, well, it's a bit of a baptism of fire in this one, as there's plenty of action and battles galore so far in fact, and Cushion Gamer a little bit out of sync with these guys, who are a net P3 and P4, as we see Luke's emerge from the pit lane just ahead of Sam now. And we've got Sinan ahead in P3 after he recovers from his contact with Casey. He's out of sync as well with these guys, and yeah, they're having a battle all the way through the field. Luke obviously is taking advantage there. He managed to retain track position over Sam despite Sam attempting to get the undercut. And that's probably because of the Ferrari having to battle his way through the traffic, I'd imagine. We haven't seen much of it on camera. We've seen Sam having to pass the Mercedes. But certainly, as I said earlier, the tyre wear is so heavy and there's so many variations on strategy. This could be a problem for these guys who are battling out for the top positions later on, as they come out in traffic and have to battle their way through. While the undercut's quite powerful here, they may not be able to take advantage of it depending on where they come out in terms of track position. Luke dispatches Sinan there, as we've just seen. It looks like Sam followed him through as well. We're going to get a replay of that now, and yes, here goes Sam up the inside of Sinan. Nicely done, and Sinan on those used soft tyres is easy meat for these guys as they carve their way through. Back on board now with Dan Mack. It's been all action for Dan Mack so far in this race, and he's closing up to his teammate now in P12. So he's gone on to the ultra soft tyres once again, so he's gone for a racy strategy. The purple tyres don't last for very long, so it depends. We wait and see how sustainable this particular strategy is. But he's gone down the inside of prototypbudgie now. Nicely done and very easily done into turn 8. We've got a virtual safety car out now. I'm not sure why we've got this one. I'm hearing it's actually Drastic Devil who's had an accident on his way up to turn 2. So nightmare for Drastic Devil. We're going to see a replay of it now. So he comes out of turn 1, just looking in his tyre wear there, trying to obviously manage those soft tyres as best he can. And he just goes straight off into the grass, loses the car, hits the barriers, and just as we've seen with Casey Legend, is out of this race. So Red Bull not having a good day of it. We saw KGibbs have his accident on lap 1, and we've seen Drastic Devil hit the barriers now as well, in a similar spot actually to where his teammate crashed. And ultimately Drastic Devil out of this race. KGibbs well outside the points at the moment, so Red Bull once again having a shocking race, and disappointing for them on home turf, we have to say. Dietrich Manischitz will not be happy about these positions and the running so far of this particular race. As we see now, KGibbs, speak of the devil, actually making a move on Kev, and Kev fighting back. These two FormulaXbox veterans have been in and around the paddock since season 1, and Kev having a look now potentially to go back down the inside of KGibbs as they head towards turn 3. He seems to make moves, stick with his left K-Gibbs, plenty of space on the outside. Doesn't look like the Red Bulls managed to take it though, and Kev has got the position covered, at least for now, but ultimately with both super soft shod cars, you'd imagine that this battle could run on and on, as this is actually for not even a net P13, this is for P13. And so, as we see Kev now heading towards turn 8, K-Gibbs will know he's got access to the DRS and will be well within detection point as they head through the final corner now and onto the pit straight once again. K-Gibbs will undoubtedly have his DRS open behind. You can see Kev potentially looking in his mirrors now to see where the Red Bull is. He won't be anymore because the Red Bull's now up the inside and ahead of him. Bit of a lock up with the left front there for K-Gibbs, but he gets the job done anyway. And so that's now him up into P13. As we see RBZ retake the lead as Luke emerges from his second stop on the soft compound tyres now. And you'd imagine he can take these to the end of the race. So it's going to be a question of how is his pace versus RBZ, and as we can see, his pace is very, very good. He's catching the Haas very quickly indeed, and ultimately, you'd imagine the speed he's caught in that, it's only going to be a matter of time until he makes the move. You see Sam's actually just behind these guys as well. He's actually a little way off, so it is just a two-way battle for the lead at the moment, but Sam with the super soft rubber is a step softer, and he's only 4.7 seconds down, so if these two start scrapping as intensely as you'd imagine for P1, then ultimately the Ferrari could come into play quite nicely here as well. As Luke stalking the Haas, they head through turn 8 and turn 9. Luke well within the DRS zone. The Haas of RBZ getting a little bit out of shape on the exit. RBZ goes to defend the inside line very, very early there. Showed his hand, and Luke's going to take the outside line and gets the job done nice and easily as they head through turn 1. So it was all about the traction off the last corner, and RBZ ran a little bit wide. Potentially those tyres a little bit second hand now as well. Luke's obviously on with a fresh set of boots, and that's cost RBZ dear there. He drops from P1 to P2, and ultimately he's got to find some way back into this race. You'd imagine it's going to be with a fresh set of tyres and a burst of pace towards the end if he's going to do anything about that Toro Rosso, who now leads. Drastic Midget moves onto the super soft tyres for a final 8-lap dash to the finish. And we see Dan Mack now still in P13. They're still battling with the Sauber of the Lost Warrior. It seems like these guys have been battling throughout the whole race, as Dan has DRS service versus the Sauber, and he's potentially going to have a look down the inside into turn 3. Late move, but gets the job done very, very nicely indeed there, and he's now up into P12. See K-Gibbs just ahead in P11. But it looks like it's not going to be any points at all for Red Bull today, as K-Gibbs has really struggled with tyre deg in this one. Prototypbudgie is on very, very second-hand tyres now, as he's trying to make a two-stop strategy work, and doing a very, very good job of it, it must be said. Loses out on the position to Dan Mack though, and that could potentially cost him a point. But Budgie really making an alternate strategy work very, very well, as others around him have just really struggled on tyres so far. As we see, lap 36 of 36, Luke rounds the final corner to take victory in Austria. Fantastic race from him. RBZ with no answer to Luke's pace late on, and a phenomenal drive from Luke. We see RBZ now, he is under pressure from Sam. I said the Ferrari could come into play late on, and Sam stalking RBZ through the last corner, but it looks like the Haas has the position covered. But we see no, he actually takes a penalty. So as we see on the leaderboards there, RBZ drops to 3rd, Sam promoted to P2, and ultimately those super soft tyres just not providing him enough grip towards the end of the race. And Luke getting the strategy spot on this one. Strategy was going to play a big part, as I said, early doors when we saw those early pit stops, and thus it played out. So fantastic action in that race, thoroughly enjoyable. We saw some unfortunate accidents in the case of Knorr and Casey, and that's going to prove very costly for Casey in the championship, as Luke takes the championship lead for once again this season, after he's had it, I believe, earlier on, but ultimately he's had a few incidents early on that did also cost him as well, but he's back to the top of the standings. The season 5 champion looks to be shaping up to take a season 6 crown, but of course Casey, unfortunate this time out, and RBZ getting wrong-footed by strategy. You never know, we could see plenty of changes in the future as well. So that has been round 9 of the championship. Next time we are at Silverstone, the British Grand Prix, home race for a lot of the drivers as well here, and the home race for myself too. So thank you very much for watching, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the highlights. Please leave your comments in the comment section below as to what you thought about all those incidents, and until next time, I shall see you very soon. Goodbye.